My real question was to ask you how prepared you are to deal with the multitude of economic challenges confronting Ghana. But after listening to you within these few minutes, I thought it wise to abandon my question. Because even before asking, you have made a case demonstrating your readiness and preparedness to confront the problems of Ghana with greater expertise and finesse than we have seen in the past. So I have a few questions focusing on what my brother and former majority leader and now minority leader raised in his thesis that he read before we started. Oh, it's very beautiful. Thesis.
Honourable member, continue. Proceed.
Number one, will you abolish the e-levy?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, my position on the e-levy is well known. I do not intend to run from it. I've written articles against the e-levy. I championed opposition against the e-levy. I still stand by them. Mr. Chairman, the e-levy is neither a direct tax, indirect tax, or an excise tax. I don't know how to classify the e-levy as a tax practitioner. Mr. Chairman, it doesn't mean that I do not recognize that the e-levy brings in certain revenue. But the fact remains that the e-levy retards our progress towards a cash-light economy and the fintech. We need to abolish the e-levy. I have said, and I'm on record to have said, that given the opportunity to abolish the e-levy, I want to restate that position, that if approved as part of the first budget, I'll be privileged and I will announce that we will abolish the e-levy as part of our first budget, recognizing my earlier stance and the commitment that His Excellency the President, President Mahama, said that as part of our 120 days agenda, we will abolish the e-levy. We stand by that, and I can assure you the e-levy will go within the 120 days calendar that we've announced. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mama Ayarga. The minority leader and the ranking member wants to do a follow-up on the question relating to abolishing e-levy.
Thank you, Chairman. Chair, my respected colleague and leader tells us that he is aware that abolishing the e-levy would amount to government losing revenue. How does he make up for the loss in revenue?
Thank you very much. Your answer to the question, please.
Mr. Chairman, it shouldn't always be revenue. But why are we not paying attention to expenditure? I think you have a choice of both. Remove the e-levy and replace it. Or remove the e-levy, don't replace it, and cut corresponding expenditure. The option is on the table. As minister, I will obviously consider the e-levy holistically and the fact that it's going and look at its impact and assess it appropriately. But my commitment will not change. The e-levy has to go, and it will go immediately.
Thank you very much. He intimated he has a further supplementary question.
Chair, my respected colleague and leader has introduced an important point, and I find a very intelligent one. He says that it's not always about revenue, but expenditure. We are aware of several expenditure lines these are largely social intervention programs. Is he saying that he's going to do away with some of the social intervention programs to enable him succeed? Or has he been able to identify a particular expenditure line to be able to deal with? Because to say you are going to abolish it on good authority and you are not going to look for another source of revenue to replace it, but you're going to cut on expenditure, it so suggests that you've identified one. Have you been able to identify one?
Mr. Chairman, the quality of expenditure matters. I have said here, and I'm on record to have said that as part of our short-term measures, we will indeed implement a careful but a strong expenditure-based front-loaded fiscal consolidation agenda without hurting growth and the vulnerable. The vulnerable obviously means protecting social protection. Mr. Chairman, I'm a social democrat. My party, the NDC, is a social democratic party. We stand by our ideals. We will not be the ones to hurt the vulnerable. We will protect the vulnerable in our society. Our expenditure cut will be careful, will be done in a way where the vulnerable will be protected. And I've said the quality of expenditure matters. It matters in the sense that expenditure must drive inclusive growth. And so if the expenditure is wasteful and it's not properly targeted and it's not achieving the desired outcome, then you have to relook at it. So we'll be guided. Remember, aside my professional expertise, I'm also a politician. I have won a mandate, and my constituency is a rural constituency. I understand the people of Ghana. I understand the needs of the vulnerable. I understand the dynamics of the political economy. I have monitored Ghana's economy for close to 20 years, 2 decades. I understand its trends, and I can assure you that whatever policy that we will introduce it in such a way that it will drive inclusive growth and help all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The ranking member is really enjoying the answers to the question. We may now move on with Honorable Mahama Ayarga.
Honorable Atuforson, you have been talking about cutting down on expenditure. You've repeated that several times this morning. Is the reduction in the number of ministers and the reduction in the number of existing ministries, is that part of the measures being taken at the highest levels to cut down on expenditure?
Mr. Chairman, the size of government matter. It feeds into the expenditure framework. Reducing government ministries from 30 to 23 gives you a savings of 7. 7 bureaucratic agencies. 7 bureaucratic agencies comes with its own cost. Therefore, it is part of the envelope. So straight away you can see the envelope. Today, the Ministry of Finance will have to populate the budget as approved by Parliament for expenditure in advance of appropriations. It has, as part of it, 30 ministries. Immediately they have to realign to 23. So straight away, you have cost centers of 27 that you have to eliminate. Some are fixed, but they are variable costs that you immediately cut. And so you can understand that as part of the government's policy to cut down expenditure, we have already begun. And I'm sure in the next budget, you'll be very impressed with us, what some of the things we'll do. I don't want to preempt it. I'm not a minister yet. I'll count on you to approve me very fast so that I can start the work. Thank you.
My last
Thank you
question.
very much. Your last question.
My last question is, do you have any doubts about any of our commitments to abolish any of the taxes? Are we reneging? Is there any conversation in the circles of government? Is there any doubt in our mind about any of the taxes that we said we will abolish?
Mr. Chairman, certainly no. Certainly no.
Thank you very much. I will take a question from Honorable Ampimyako.
Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations to Honorable Dr. Ato Forson. But I am impressed with your responses so far, a clear indication that you are ready to help reset Ghana. But I have a quick question. The previous government, in the process of introducing e-levy, abolished road tolls. As you have committed to remove e-levy, would you consider to bring back road toll collections? And what is your take on property rate collections as well? Because they attempted to centralize it and they reversed it with the previous government attempted centralization of property rate collections, and they reversed it with the explanation that there were some challenges.
Thank you very much for your question.
Road toll and property rate?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Chairman, the previous government indeed removed the road toll. But getting to the end, they signaled that road toll is coming back. Mr. Chairman, they submitted to Parliament, it was not laid, a concession agreement with the company to reintroduce the road tolls. I have a copy. Mr. Chairman, the NDC indicated from day one that the road toll will come back. We are not running away from it. In fact, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, at the time, the minority leader, said that the NDC promises to bring back the road toll. The Hansard will bear us out. We have not run away from that fact. So, I can assure you, we are a party that sticks to our promises. And whatever we have promised to do, we'll do just that. If the road toll is a way to raise revenue, we'll raise the revenue. And the road toll, if you use the road, you have to pay a toll. And it's all over the world. Ghana won't be the first country, won't be the last one. You have to contribute towards the road maintenance. And so the only thing is we have to collect the revenue effectively and efficiently so that we can plow it towards the maintenance of those roads. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will take a question from Gideon Buaku. Dr. Gideon Buaku.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the Honorable nominee per series affiliated to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Business School. In fact, he signed up for the program at the time I was seconded to the office of the Vice President. So as a lecturer of the business school, I think it is appropriate that on behalf of the KNUST Business School, I congratulate you. And I can see my colleague, Professor Jonathan Annan, sitting behind you to show moral support. Mr. Honorable nominee, on 3rd April 2019, Ghana's economic management team held a public lecture at the College of Physicians and Surgeons. And this lecture was led by the former Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. The lecture was themed, Our Progress, Our Status, Our Future. A day after that lecture, there was another public lecture organized by the Coalition for Restoration that is affiliated to your party on 4th April 2019, and you spoke at that public lecture, which was themed The State of the Ghanaian Economy, Myths and Truths. In your presentation, you put out some data, among which I found a highly misleading data that you put out. And to quote you verbatim, you said, and I quote, Mr. Chairman, the official data from the Ministry of Finance indicates clearly that overall deficit by end year 2016 was 7.8% of GDP, into brackets, 6.1% of new rebase GDP. But the figure you put out, Honorable Nominee, was utterly untrue. And to back this with evidence, if you read the budget statements of 2017, the mid-year budget statement of 2018, and the mid-year budget statement of 2019, the full budget, you will see that page 7, paragraph 14 of the 2017 mid-year budget put that figure at 9.3% of GDP, and not what you quoted. Again, page 12, paragraph 45 of the 2018 mid-year budget put the figure again at 9.3%, and not what you quoted. Lastly, page 3, paragraph 14 of the 2019 full budget statement puts the figure at 9.3%, and not what you quoted. Where did you get that figure you quoted from? Would you consider apologizing to the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and Honorable Nominee, former Vice President?
Honorable Dr. Gideon Boako, it doesn't lie in your mouth to ask the nominee to consider apologizing. So withdraw that from
Thank
your
you, Mr.
question.
Chairman. I submit to your guidance on this. Honorable Nominee, my question is, you know the enviable office of the Finance Minister that potentially you're going to occupy should come with utmost integrity, honesty, backed by meticulousness, profundity, and analytical precision. In your capacity as minority spokesperson, you misled the public with wrong public data. Can you assure this committee that you are not going to sleep on the job and make some of these data presentational errors that we have even experienced in the past, for which Ghana was charged for some misreporting by the IMF? That's my question, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for this.
Before you answer the question, the questioner, I will want you to consider withdrawing, going to the office with a degree of honesty, integrity. I mean, it's against our rules. So expunge that from your question. Then I can ask the nominee to answer the
Mr. Chairman,
question.
if you can guide me.
I think what the chairman is saying is that the aspect where you delved into his personality. So just say that that bit is deemed withdrawn. Then we make.
Mr. Chairman, duly acknowledged.
Thank you very much. Nominee, you may proceed to answer the question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the Honorable Gideon Boako has got it very wrong. Very wrong in the sense that he's not privy to the IMF data. And I want to refer him to the IMF staff report for 2018 and 2019. And if you can check now, I want to take him into it. Mr. Chairman, he's wrong. In fact, the very 7.8 fiscal deficit for 2016 was reported by the IMF. And Mr. Chairman, the IMF has subsequently even revised the fiscal deficit for 2016 down on cash basis to 6.3%. 6.3%. Mr. Chairman, you know me in this house. I don't just speak. I speak with data. I research before I speak. I use data from independent sources. Ghana was in an IMF program at the time. 2017, the Ministry of Finance presented a budget. They quoted the numbers he's making reference to. I challenged the numbers. In fact, my former boss also challenged the numbers because I was a deputy minister at the time. 2018, they repeated the same inaccurate numbers, and it had become the order of the day.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
I have a responsibility.
Yes, Mr. Chairman,
I have a
order.
responsibility to defend our legacy. And I had a responsibility to defend our legacy. And in defending the legacy, I actually decided to use data from independent sources, the International Monetary Fund. And in doing so, the IMF presented this data. Mr. Chairman, I'll give